The stage is set. It's the finals of the World Blitz Team Championships in London. Playing on the second board for Team WR Chess is none other than Hikaru Nakamura, the speed demon, one of the greatest speed players on the planet. And opposite him is Richard Rapport, who is an amazingly creative player playing for Cas Chess. It's WR Chess versus Cas Chess. The team from Kazakhstan and Rapport adjusts all his pieces. It's going to be a tremendously exciting game between these two world-class players. We are about to begin. 3 minutes plus 2 seconds increment. A shake of hands by the players. And off we go. Knight to f3 by Hikaru. Knight f6. g3 played. g6. Symmetrical. And Hikaru goes bishop g2, bishop g7. And now pushes his pawn to d4. Castles by Rapport. Castles by Hikaru. d6 played. The King's Indian setup. b3. Trying to double fianchetto and b5. Wow. Trying to perhaps clamp down the pawns with b4 or just gain space with a5. Hikaru is like, my bishop is on this long diagonal. How do you play this, Rapport? And he wants to go knight e5 or something. He's thinking. He goes c4. Pawn takes pawn, and now I like this move knight d2 because it unleashes the attack on the rook. c6. And white's structure is slightly better because the a pawn is isolated. But what black does have is this beautiful central control. So Rapport slows down a bit. I guess until now was his opening preparation, but he's now trying to think how should he place his pieces. Bishop b7. Should the knight, the knight can't develop now because the c6 pawn is hanging. Should we go? He goes a5. Maybe bishop e6 was slightly better than that. But a5, maybe with the idea of a4, maybe with bishop a6 to put the bishop behind the pawn. And white has this nice central structure, but Hikaru doesn't really push directly. He's waiting for the right moment now. Bishop e6 played. And knight comes out to d2. The rook will enter in on c1. Rook a6 to defend the pawn so that the knight can develop here to d7. He brings his rook to c1 and knight comes out to d7. Queen to c2 played. White wants to perhaps play in the center. Pawn to c5. Breaking and rook d1. So very, very tense position with all the pieces having been developed. I think white's position looks more harmonious, but the pieces you can see are not doing too much. Queen b8. There's no synergy between them. And now you can see black coming to c8, threatening then to open up the c file. Also a4 is always on the cards. Hikaru has 2 minutes. And Rapport has 2 minutes 21 seconds. You go queen d3. And you can see Hikaru looking at the other games. It's important. This match is happening on 6 boards. So to see what your teammates are doing. And bishop takes c5. And bishop takes d4 and maybe knight c5 now to attack the queen. Rapport does play it. He attacks the queen. Now Hikaru has a choice between taking and playing this position where he has a slightly better structure or just moving the queen away. Not an easy choice to make. He goes queen c3, lining up on this long diagonal. Rook goes to c8. And now the queen comes back to a1. So white has set up this battery on the long diagonal. I love this move bishop g4 as it puts pressure here on e2. Hikaru goes rook e1. Not a move that you play happily from a semi-open file to a closed file. But he thought that this pawn had to be protected. 1 minute 38 seconds for both the players. The time pressure is coming up. And wonder what Richard's next idea will be in this position. He's taking his time here. He goes back bishop d7, makes a lot of sense to come back, preparing perhaps a4. And Hikaru also not so clear on how to make progress here, because you could push e4, but then the knight jumps in and forks both of these rooks. So he goes bishop f1, controlling d3, preparing e4, also looking at the rook. And now maybe already a4 makes a lot of sense. He goes knight e8, offering the trade of the bishops on the long diagonal. Take, e4 played. And Rapport goes back, rook a7. And you have e5 pushing forward even further. And d5 played, knight goes back to e3, attacking this pawn. You don't want to go e6 as that weakens the dark squares here. So perhaps bishop e6 makes a lot of sense. And now we have like a more fixed structure. Queen e5 here could be hanging potentially later. Goes knight to f3. And the knight comes out to f5. And Hikaru takes, bishop takes, and goes knight to d4. Now he's attacking the bishop. The bishop comes back, and later black may want to play e6. He goes rook to c3. And rook comes out on c7. Bishop is back on g2, but now this very nice move e6, because this time the knight cannot enter the dark square so easily. Yes, it does weaken, and maybe eventually h4, h5 does become a very good idea, but black also has counterplay on the queen side, so it's not so simple. Rook d1 played here by Hikaru. He's losing some time. Queen b6. Richard is getting ready for this b6 a4 move by queen b6. h4. Yes, time to go on the king side now. a4, playing on the queen side. Threat, starting this incredible threat, knight b3. Because earlier if you took knight b3, I had rook b3. But now with a4. Oh, but Hikaru misses it. Rapport misses it again. Oh my god, Rapport misses it as well. Not again, but as well. Oh my goodness. That would have been such a big moment here. Knight takes b3. Rook is hanging. If rook c7, queen is hanging. And that would have lost a lot of material. But ab3 taken back. And now Richard, down to 14 seconds, plays knight e4. Rook c7, queen c7 taken. The e5 pawn is hanging. Now let's try to be completely zoned in, because black has an attack here, also trying to enter on the c1, on the c file. But Hikaru is a monster when it comes to tactics. He also has a few seconds extra on the clock. Where is he going to jump next with his knight? He takes on e4. Takes and plays knight e2. Rook comes to b8. h6. Beautiful move. Bishop b5 attacking here. Knight jumps to f4. And now perhaps e3 to spoil the structure. No, he goes queen e7. Planning to come to g5 and picking up this h6 pawn. Queen c1, a beautiful trap set. Rapport, don't come to g5, but he comes in. He misses Hikaru's idea of knight d5. Hikaru finds it. If queen takes queen, there's knight f6 check. But queen e5, Hikaru shakes his head. But maybe he had not seen further. But now he has seen it. King h8 played and knight c8, threatening a mate. Bishop d3, queen c6, threatening a mate. Queen b5, stopping it. Queen c7, attacking the rook and threatening a mate. You can't save it. Insane combination. Insane. And Rapport is like, I didn't see that coming. Hikaru, what a moment that was. I think Hikaru hadn't seen that combination when Rapport took on e5, but still found it after knight e7. And it was amazing. Knight e7, Hikaru says you could go to f8. But yes, Rapport said there was queen a3.